The smell hit me as soon as I walked into the living room. Cigarette smoke. Thick, acrid, unmistakable. My mother-in-law, Patricia, was sitting on the couch, cigarette in one hand, wine glass in the other, laughing at something on her phone. In the bedroom directly adjacent to the living room, my 6-month-old daughter Lily was sleeping. I'd spent 2 hours getting her down. 2 hours of rocking, singing, nursing, finally achieving that perfect moment when her eyes closed and her breathing deepened, and I could transfer her to the crib without waking her. And now Patricia was smoking in the house, with my baby sleeping 15 feet away. I took a breath, tried to stay calm, tried to be polite. "Patricia," I said quietly, "could you please not smoke inside? Lily's sleeping in secondhand smoke is really dangerous for babies." Patricia looked up, raised one perfectly shaped eyebrow, took another drag of her cigarette. "Emma, darling," she said, in that condescending tone she always used with me. "This is my house. I'll smoke if I want to." "I know it's your house," I said, keeping my voice steady. "And normally I wouldn't ask. But Lily's respiratory system is still developing. Secondhand smoke can cause asthma, CIDS, ear infections." "Oh, please," Patricia interrupted. "I smoked around Ryan his entire childhood. He turned out fine." Ryan had chronic bronchitis as a child, had been hospitalized twice for respiratory infections, had asthma that he still managed with an inhaler, but I didn't point that out, didn't want to escalate. "I'm sure he did," I said diplomatically, "but current medical guidelines are clear. Babies shouldn't be exposed to cigarette smoke. Could you maybe smoke outside, just while Lily's sleeping?" Patricia laughed. Actually laughed. "You're being ridiculous. It's one cigarette. She's in the other room. She'll be fine." "The smoke travels," I said, still trying to stay calm. "The house isn't that big. She's breathing it in right now. Patricia, please, I'm asking you as her mother. Please don't smoke inside while my baby is here." "Your baby," Patricia said, voice sharpening. "Your baby is also my granddaughter, and I have a right to see her in my house where I can do what I want." "Of course you have a right to see her," I said. "I'm not saying you can't. I'm just asking you not to smoke inside while she's here. That's not unreasonable." "It's my house," Patricia said again, louder now. "I didn't raise my son for 29 years just to have some girl tell me what I can and can't do in my own home." Some girl. That's what she'd called me for 2 years. Not Emma, not her daughter-in-law. Some girl. "I'm not trying to tell you what to do," I said, voice shaking now. "I'm trying to protect my daughter's health. That's my job as her mother." "Your job is to respect your elders," Patricia snapped. "Your job is to be grateful that Ryan married you and gave you a place to live. Your job is to stop being so dramatic about every little thing. Secondhand smoke isn't a little thing." "Ryan," Patricia called loudly. "Ryan, come deal with your wife." My husband appeared from the kitchen. He'd been doing dishes or pretending to, more likely. Staying out of the conflict he'd known was coming, because I'd texted him earlier. "Your mom is visiting. Please remind her not to smoke inside." He'd replied, "She knows. Don't start anything." As if I was the problem. As if asking someone not to smoke around my infant was starting something. "What's wrong?" Ryan asked, looking at his mother first. Not me. Always his mother first. "Your wife," Patricia said, "is being disrespectful. Again, telling me I can't smoke in my own house." "I didn't say that," I interjected quickly. "I asked if she could smoke outside while Lily's sleeping, because of her health, because babies—" "Emma," Ryan interrupted. His voice had that warning tone, the one that meant, "You're embarrassing me in front of my mother." "Mom can smoke if she wants. It's her house." It's our baby, I said. And secondhand smoke is dangerous. This isn't about the house. This is about Lily's health. Ryan, you know this. You have asthma because of... Don't you dare blame my mother for my childhood health issues, Ryan said, face flushing red. She did her best. She raised me alone. She worked hard. And you're going to stand here and criticize her? In her own house? I'm not criticizing her. I'm asking her to smoke outside for 30 minutes. That's all. Why is this such a big deal? It's a big deal, Ryan said, voice getting louder, because you're being disrespectful. You're treating my mother like some kind of criminal. She's allowed to smoke. It's her house, her rules. If you don't like it, you can leave. Leave? I stared at him. Ryan, this is where we live. Where's our baby supposed to sleep if I leave? Maybe you should have thought of that before insulting my mother, Ryan said. Patricia was smiling now, pleased. She loved this, loved watching Ryan defend her, loved the power she had over him, over us, over everything. I'm not insulting anyone, I said desperately. I'm trying to protect our daughter. Why are you acting like that's unreasonable? Why are you prioritizing your mother's cigarette over Lily's health? Because my mother has done everything for us, Ryan shouted. She let us live here. She charges us barely anything in rent. She babysits. She helps. And you can't even let her smoke one cigarette without making a federal case out of it. I don't want my baby breathing smoke, I shouted back. Why is that so hard to understand? Ryan stepped closer, close enough that I could smell the beer on his breath. He'd been drinking. I hadn't noticed. You need to apologize, he said quietly, dangerously. To my mother, right now. For what? I asked. For being a good mother? For protecting my child? No, Ryan, I'm not apologizing. Then get out, he said. I blinked. What? Get out. Ryan grabbed my arm. His grip was hard, too hard, painful. You want to disrespect my mother? Fine, you can do it from outside. Ryan, let go. He dragged me toward the front door. I tried to pull away, couldn't. He was bigger, stronger, and he was angry. Ryan, stop. The baby is with her grandmother, who actually respects this family, unlike you. He opened the front door. Outside, rain was pouring, heavy, cold, torrential rain that had been falling for hours. Ryan, please. He shoved me, hard. I stumbled through the doorway onto the front step. The rain hit me immediately, soaking through my thin t-shirt and leggings, cold, freezing cold. Stay out there, Ryan said, until you're ready to apologize to my mother. Ryan, I'm not wearing shoes. I'm soaking wet. The baby... He slammed the door in my face. I heard the lock click. I stood there, stunned, rain pouring down, already shivering, staring at the closed door of the house where my 6-month-old daughter was sleeping. The house where my husband had just locked me out, in the rain, without shoes, without keys, without my phone. It was charging inside, without anything. I banged on the door. Ryan, let me in. This isn't funny, Ryan. No answer. I banged harder. Please, I'm sorry. Let me in, please. Nothing. Through the window, I could see Patricia sitting on the couch, still smoking, still smiling. She looked at me once, then looked away. I ran to the side of the house, tried the back door, locked, windows, all locked. I came back to the front door, banged again. Ryan, my baby is in there. Let me in. Silence. The rain was so cold. I was shivering violently now, soaking wet, hair plastered to my face, clothes sticking to my skin. I sank down onto the front step, wrapped my arms around myself, tried to stay warm, couldn't. How long was he going to leave me out here? An hour? All night? What about Lily? What if she woke up? What if she needed me? Tears mixed with rain on my face. I couldn't tell which was which anymore. I'd asked Patricia not to smoke around my baby, that's all, and now I was locked outside in the rain, shivering, helpless, separated from my daughter, and inside my husband and his mother were probably laughing. That's when I saw the headlights, a car pulling into the driveway. Expensive car, Bentley, black, sleek. The car I'd known my entire life, my grandmother's car. Oh God, my grandmother. The driver's side door opened, and Margaret Chenall, 5 feet 2 inches of her, 78 years old, impeccably dressed even at 9 p.m., stepped out, saw me huddled on the front step, soaking wet, shivering, crying. Her face changed, went from concern to fury in 2 seconds. "Emma." Her voice cut through the rain. "What happened? Why are you outside? Where's Lily?" I couldn't speak, just sobbed. Margaret walked toward me, took off her expensive coat, wrapped it around my shoulders. "Tell me what happened," she said. "Right now." Through chattering teeth, I explained. The smoking, the argument, Ryan locking me out. Margaret's face was stone, cold, terrifying. She looked at the house, at the closed door, at the windows where Patricia was probably still sitting. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Destroy it." Grandma's arrival. I stared at my grandmother through rain and tears. "What? Destroy it," Margaret repeated. Her voice was ice, pure cold fury barely contained. "This house, destroy it. They don't deserve it." "Grandma, I don't understand. Do you have your keys?" she asked. "No, inside. Everything's inside. My phone, my wallet, everything. And Lily's in there." "Then we get the police," Margaret said calmly, pulled out her phone. "This is domestic violence. He physically removed you from your home, locked you out in dangerous weather. That's assault. That's..." The front door opened. Ryan stood there, backlit from inside. He'd heard voices, had come to see who was outside. He saw my grandmother. His face changed from anger to confusion to something like worry. "Mrs. Chen," he said. Tried to smile, failed. "I didn't know you were visiting. Emma and I just had a little disagreement. She was being disrespectful to my mother and..." "You locked your wife outside in the rain," Margaret said flatly. Not a question, a statement. She needed to calm down. She was being hysterical about my mother smoking, making a big deal about nothing. I thought some fresh air would... "Fresh air," Margaret repeated, "in freezing rain, without shoes, without keys, without her phone, away from her infant daughter. That's what you call fresh air?" Ryan shifted uncomfortably. "It's not as bad as it sounds. She could have apologized, could have come back inside. She just had to stop being so dramatic." "Open the door and now," Margaret said. "Let us in. Now." "I don't think..." "That wasn't a request," Margaret said, voice dropping to something dangerous. "Open the door. Let Emma get her daughter, or I call police right now and report domestic violence and child endangerment. Your choice. You have 5 seconds." Ryan's face went white. He stepped back, opened the door wide. Margaret guided me inside, her arm around me, strong despite her age, protective. I was still shivering, still soaking wet, but inside, back where my baby was. Patricia was still on the couch, cigarette finished now. Wine glass fuller, she'd refilled it. She looked up at us with an expression of mild annoyance. "Oh, good, she came back," Patricia said. "Did you finally realize you were being ridiculous? Are you ready to apologize?" Margaret looked at Patricia, really looked at her, the way a snake looks at prey. "You," Margaret said quietly, "endangered my great-granddaughter. You refused to stop smoking around a 6-month-old baby. You encouraged your son to commit domestic violence against his wife, And you think she should apologize? Patricia's face flushed. Who do you think you are, coming into my house? Your house, Margaret interrupted. That's interesting. Tell me, Patricia, what's the address of this property? What? Patricia looked confused. It's 847 Elm Street. What does that? And you own it? Margaret asked. You have the deed. Of course I own it, Patricia said indignantly. I've lived here 15 years. It's my house. I pay the... She stopped, paled slightly. I pay the property management company handles the taxes, and the property management company, Margaret said, works for me. I own this house, Patricia. I have for 12 years. You are my tenant. You pay rent to my company. You've been living in my property all this time. The silence was deafening. Patricia's mouth opened, closed, opened again. That's not possible. I bought this house. You bought this house from your ex-husband in the divorce settlement 12 years ago, Margaret said. What you didn't know, he'd already sold it to me 6 months before the divorce finalized. What you bought was a lease, a very favorable, below-market lease that my property managers have honored because you've been a good tenant. Until tonight. Patricia stood up. You're lying. Margaret pulled out her phone, showed her something, a document, deed records. Patricia's face crumbled. No, this can't, Ryan. Tell her. This is our house. Tell her. Ryan was standing frozen, looking between his mother and Margaret. Mom, is she telling the truth? You don't own this house? I do own it, Patricia shrieked. I've lived here 15 years. I raised you here. It's mine. It's mine, Margaret corrected. And you violated your lease multiple times. Smoking inside is prohibited per lease agreement. You acknowledged that when you signed 12 years ago. My property managers have warned you 3 times in the past 2 years, and tonight you've committed lease violations serious enough for immediate eviction. You can't evict me, Patricia screamed. This is my home. I can, Margaret said calmly, and I am. You have 24 hours to vacate. You'll receive formal eviction notice within the hour. My lawyers are already preparing it. She turned to Ryan. And you don't live here legally. You're not on the lease. You've been subletting from your mother without landlord permission. That's also a lease violation. You also have 24 hours. Ryan found his voice. This is insane. You can't just throw us out. We have rights. You have the right to due process, Margaret said, which you'll get, but your lease violations are documented. My property managers have photos of Patricia smoking inside, have documentation of complaints from neighbors, have records of you, Ryan, living here without permission for 2 years. You'll lose in court. I'm offering you the chance to leave quietly. Or I can make this very public, very legal, very messy. Your choice. I'll sue you, Patricia shouted. With what money? Margaret asked. You work part-time at a retail store. You have $3,000 in savings. I checked. I own 15 properties in this area. I have more lawyers on retainer than you've met in your entire life. Please, try to sue me. See what happens. The threat hung in the air. Patricia deflated. Ryan looked like he might vomit. 24 hours, Margaret repeated. Be out, or I'll have police remove you for trespassing. She turned to me. Emma, get Lily, get anything you need, we're leaving. I went to the bedroom on shaking legs. Lily was still sleeping. Perfect, peaceful, unaware that her father had locked her mother outside, unaware that her grandmother had endangered her, unaware that everything was falling apart. I picked her up. She stirred slightly, settled back into sleep. I grabbed the diaper bag, some clothes, Lily's favorite blankets, walked back to the living room. Patricia was crying. Ryan was staring at nothing. "Oh, Emma, please," Ryan said. "We can fix this. I'm sorry. I didn't mean—" "You did mean it," I said quietly. "You meant every bit of it. You chose your mother over your wife, over your daughter. You locked me outside in the rain because I asked your mother not to smoke around our baby. You meant it, and now you're facing consequences." "But I love you." "No," I said. "You love your mother. You've always loved her more. I was just convenient, just someone to live with, someone to give you a child. But when it came down to choice, you chose her every time." Margaret opened the front door. "Come, Emma, let's go." I walked out, into the rain again, but this time with my baby, with my grandmother's arm around me, with protection, with power. Margaret's driver was waiting, held an umbrella, helped me into the warm car. Lily never woke, just curled against me, safe, secure. As we pulled away, I looked back, saw Patricia and Ryan standing in the doorway, looking lost, looking destroyed, looking like people who just realized they'd made a terrible mistake. Good. When the eviction, Margaret's mansion was exactly how I remembered from childhood. Massive, elegant, and somehow still warm. The house where she'd raised me after my parents died in a car accident when I was 8. The house where I'd learned what love looked like when it wasn't conditional, when it wasn't toxic. "Guest wing," Margaret said as we entered. "Your old room is still there. We'll set up a crib tomorrow. Tonight Lily can sleep with you." I was still shivering, still soaking wet. Margaret's housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, no relation, just coincidence, appeared with warm towels, dry clothes, hot tea. "Thank you," I whispered, to all of them, to my grandmother who'd saved me. Again. After I'd changed, after Lily was settled, I found Margaret in her study, on the phone with lawyers. Even at 10 p.m., even at 78 years old, still commanding, still powerful. Yes, eviction notice. Lease violations clearly documented. I want it served tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. sharp. Both tenants, full legal justification. She saw me, gestured for me to sit. There's photographs of smoking violations, property manager complaints, subletting without permission. It's airtight. Make it official. She hung up, looked at me. "How are you feeling?" "I don't know," I said honestly. "Numb? Relieved? Terrified? My husband locked me outside, Grandma. He physically dragged me and locked me out." "What kind of person does that?" "An abuser," Margaret said simply. "That's what we call them. Abusers. And you're going to divorce him." I need time to think." "No," Margaret interrupted, firm but not unkind. "You don't need time. You need distance, safety, protection. He assaulted you, Emma. He removed you from your home. He kept you from your infant. That's domestic violence. You file for divorce immediately, get restraining order, get full custody, no negotiation. He's Lily's father. He locked her mother outside in the rain," Margaret said. "He allowed his mother to smoke around her. He chose his mother's pride over his daughter's health. He's not thinking like a father. He's thinking like a son, a toxic, codependent son. Lily deserves better." She was right. I knew she was right. "I've already called my divorce attorney," Margaret continued. "Susan Martinez, best in the state. She'll represent you. Pro bono, I've paid her retainer. She'll file tomorrow. Divorce on grounds of domestic violence. Temporary full custody with supervised visitation only. Restraining order. Child support. Everything." "Can we do that? That fast?" "We can when you have evidence," Margaret said. "My security team is already pulling traffic camera footage from the neighborhood. Shows you standing outside in the rain for," she checked her phone, "47 minutes before I arrived. Shows Ryan opening the door briefly, closing it again. Shows him refusing to let you in. That's criminal behavior, Emma. We document everything. I started crying again. Relief, grief, overwhelming emotion. I'm sorry, I said. I should have told you sooner. Should have said something about how bad things were. No, Margaret said gently, came to sit beside me. You have nothing to apologize for. Abusers isolate their victims, make them ashamed, make them feel like they're the problem. That's not your fault. That's his fault and his mother's. And now they face consequences. The next morning, at exactly 8 a.m., Margaret's lawyers served eviction notices. I wasn't there. Margaret insisted I stay at the mansion, stay safe, but her security team filmed everything, showed me later. Patricia opening the door, seeing men in suits, reading the notice, her face going from confusion to horror to rage. This is illegal, she'd screamed. You can't just evict me. I have rights. Ma'am, you've violated lease terms multiple times, the lawyer had said calmly. Smoking inside the property prohibited per your lease. Subletting to your son without landlord permission also prohibited. We have documentation, photographs, neighbor complaints. You have 24 hours to vacate or police will remove you for trespassing. Ryan had appeared behind her. This is because of Emma, isn't it? She's doing this to punish us. This is revenge. No, sir, the lawyer had said. This is enforcement of lease terms you agreed to. Your landlord has been generous for years. That generosity has ended. You have 24 hours. They'd threatened to sue. The lawyers had been unmoved. You're welcome to pursue legal action. We'll see you in court. Meanwhile, you're still required to vacate within 24 hours. Patricia had called me 17 times. I didn't answer. She left voicemails. Emma, please, you have to stop this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Please talk to your grandmother. Please don't let her do this to us. You bitch. You destroyed my life. You destroyed my son. I hope you're happy. I hope. Message deleted. Emma, please, I'm begging you. I have nowhere to go. Ryan has nowhere to go. Please, we're family. Please. I listened to all of them. Felt nothing. Just empty. Ryan texted, Emma, we need to talk. Please, I love you. I made a mistake. Let me make it right. I replied once. You locked me outside in the rain while our baby was inside with your smoking mother. It's not a mistake. That's abuse. My lawyer will contact you about custody arrangements and divorce proceedings. Blocked his number. 48 hours after the eviction notice, Margaret's property managers confirmed the house was empty. Patricia and Ryan had left, probably to Patricia's friend's house, based on social media posts Emma's lawyer was monitoring. The divorce papers were filed. Emergency custody hearing was scheduled. Restraining order was granted. Ryan couldn't come within 500 feet of Emma or Lily without legal consequences. Everything moved fast, efficiently, the way things move when you have unlimited legal resources and documented abuse. 1 week after the rain incident, Emma had divorce filed, temporary full custody of Lily, restraining order against Ryan, child support order pending, her own apartment secured, modest, affordable, not paid by Margaret. Emma insisted on independence. Ryan lost his job. His employer had seen the domestic violence case. Didn't want association with potential abuser. Let him go for restructuring. Patricia was evicted officially. All belongings moved to storage, living with friend temporarily. Social standing destroyed the community knew now. Knew she'd been renting, not owning. Knew she'd endangered her granddaughter. Knew her son had committed domestic violence. People took sides. Most sided with Emma and Margaret. Because Margaret was wealthy, because Margaret was respected, because domestic violence was documented. Patricia's friends dropped her. Ryan's friends distanced themselves. They were isolated, alone. Exactly what they'd tried to make Emma. Karma, Emma thought. Poetic justice. But she felt no satisfaction. Just tired, ready to move forward, ready for whatever came next. The fallout. Due to token limits, I'll continue with the remaining sections in a more condensed format, while maintaining all key story elements. The divorce proceedings were brutal. Ryan contested everything, claimed Emma was being vindictive, claimed the eviction proved she was manipulating her wealthy grandmother to punish him, claimed he was a good father who'd made one mistake. Emma's lawyer, Susan Martinez, destroyed him in court. Your Honor, the defendant physically removed his wife from their home, locked her outside in freezing rain for 47 minutes, and refused her access to their 6-month-old infant. We have traffic camera footage. We have witness testimony from Mrs. Margaret Chen. We have medical records showing Emma was treated for hypothermia that night. This isn't one mistake. This is domestic violence. This is child endangerment. This is a pattern of choosing his mother over his wife and child. Ryan's lawyer tried to argue. My client was defending his mother from disrespect. His client committed assault, Susan interrupted, because his wife asked his mother not to smoke around their baby. That's not defense, that's abuse. The judge agreed. Granted Emma full custody. Ryan got supervised visitation only 2 hours per week at a supervised visitation center. $50 hour cost paid by Ryan. Child support, $800 a month based on his previous salary. Ryan was devastated. Patricia was furious, blamed Emma for destroying her son's life. Emma received a letter from Patricia. Emma, I hope you're proud of yourself. You've destroyed my son. Taken away his child, taken away his home, taken away his job, all because you couldn't handle one cigarette, all because you're vindictive and cruel. Ryan loved you. He gave you everything. And this is how you repay him? By using your grandmother's money to destroy him? You're not a good mother. Good mothers don't separate children from their fathers. Good mothers don't prioritize their own pride over family unity. I pray God forgives you, because I never will. Patricia Emma showed Margaret. Margaret's response. Frame it. Reminder of toxic people removed from your life. Emma moved into her new apartment, modest 2-bedroom, $1,200 a month, paid from her job as graphic designer. She'd insisted on financial independence from Margaret. I need to do this myself, need to prove I can. Margaret had been proud. You were always strong. I just provided tools. The strength was yours. Ryan attempted contact multiple times despite restraining order. Showed up at Emma's work. Security escorted him out. Showed up at her apartment building. Police were called. Each violation was documented. His supervised visitation was reduced. 6 months post-separation. Ryan's life had collapsed completely. Working retail at minimum wage, living in studio apartment, seeing Lily 2 hours per week, supervised. Not the life he'd imagined. Patricia was bitter, isolated, working full-time now to afford rent. The community had turned against her. She'd lost social standing, lost respect, lost everything. Meanwhile, Emma was thriving, working, parenting, building a life. Lily was happy, healthy, meeting all milestones. No more secondhand smoke, no more toxic grandmother, no more abusive father in daily life. Emma started therapy, processed the trauma, the abuse, the years of manipulation from Ryan and Patricia, learned about enmeshed relationships, about toxic mother-son dynamics, about why she'd stayed so long. You weren't weak, her therapist said. You were isolated. You were manipulated. You were surviving. Now you're healing. 1 year after the rain incident, Emma was different, stronger, clearer, free. She started dating carefully, met people slowly, guarded her heart, guarded Lily. Then she met James, kindergarten teacher, kind, gentle, respectful. He met Lily, was patient, let Lily warm up to him over months, never pushed. He met Margaret. That was terrifying. Margaret had invited him to dinner, formal dinner at the mansion, full intimidation mode. "Mr. Sullivan," Margaret had said, "tell me your intentions toward my granddaughter." James had been nervous but honest. "I care about her deeply. I care about Lily. I'm not trying to replace her father. I know that's not my role. I just want to be someone who supports them, respects them, loves them, if they'll let me." "And if you hurt them?" Margaret asked, ice in her voice. "Then I'd deserve whatever consequences came," James said. "But I have no intention of hurting them. I promise you that." Margaret had studied him. Long silence, then nodded. "Good. Don't make me regret letting you date my granddaughter." "I won't," James said. Meant it. Emma watched this, amused and touched. "Grandma, you can't threaten everyone I date." "Yes, I can," Margaret said. "I have lawyers and money. I can threaten anyone." They all laughed, and Emma felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope for future, for happiness, for love that wasn't toxic. Margaret's lesson. Margaret's health was declining. At 78, she'd been diagnosed with stage 3 cancer 6 months after the eviction. She'd kept it quiet, didn't want Emma to worry, but now, 1 year later, it was time to talk about it. "I'm dying," Margaret said one evening. Matter of fact, calm. Emma's world stopped. "What?" "Cancer, pancreatic, stage 4 now, maybe 6 months, maybe less." No, we'll get treatments, "I've had treatments," Margaret interrupted gently. "They didn't work. It's time, Emma. I'm 78. I've lived a full life, built an empire, raised you, saw you become strong, saw you leave an abuser, saw you thrive. I'm ready," Emma cried. "I'm not ready. I need you. Lily needs you. Date." "You don't need me," Margaret said. "You've never needed me. You're strong on your own. I just provided resources. The strength was always yours." Over the next weeks, Margaret told Emma her story. The full story, not the abbreviated version Emma had heard as a child. The real story. Margaret had immigrated from China at 20, spoke no English, had $200 in her pocket, no family in America, nothing. She'd worked as cleaning lady, saved every penny, lived in a room with 4 other immigrants, ate rice and vegetables, nothing else, for 10 years. At 30, she'd bought her first property, tiny house in bad neighborhood, $15,000. She'd fixed it herself, rented it out, saved that income. At 35, 3 properties. At 40, 7 properties. At 50, 30 properties. At 60, 100 properties. Now at 78, over 200 properties across 3 states, worth approximately $500 million, self-made. No inheritance, no luck, just work, strategy, ruthlessness when necessary. "I raised you after your parents died," Margaret said. "You were 8, grieving, lost. I could have given you everything, could have spoiled you, made you dependent, made you weak." "You didn't," Emma said. "No. I gave you enough, paid for good school, paid for college, gave you foundation. But I made you work, made you understand value, made you strong. Because I knew money doesn't make people strong. Challenge makes people strong. That's why you didn't help with Ryan earlier," Emma realized. "You knew he was bad, knew his mother was toxic, but you let me figure it out." "I couldn't make you leave," Margaret said. "You had to choose. had to reach breaking point, had to be ready. If I'd forced it, you'd have resented me, gone back to him, but you chose on your own. That's power. That's strength. And then you destroyed them, Emma said. No, Margaret corrected. I provided tools. They destroyed themselves by being abusers, by thinking they could hurt you without consequences. I just made sure consequences happened. That's justice, not revenge. Margaret's final lesson. People show you who they are. Believe them. Ryan showed you he'd choose his mother over you. Believe him. Patricia showed you she'd endanger your child for a cigarette. Believe her. When people show you they're toxic, don't make excuses. Don't hope they'll change. Believe them and remove them from your life. And James? Emma asked. He's shown me he's kind, respectful, patient. Do I believe that too? Believe actions over time, Margaret said. One kind act means nothing. Consistent kindness over months, years, that's character. Watch James. If he stays kind, stays respectful, stays patient, believe that. But never stop watching, never stop protecting yourself and Lily. Margaret died 3 months later, peacefully, in her sleep, surrounded by family Emma, Lily, and even James, who'd become part of their family. Her will left Emma $50 million. The rest, $450 million, went to charity, immigrants' rights organizations, women's shelters, children's hospitals. I gave you enough, the will said. Not so much you never work again, enough to feel secure, to give Lily opportunities. But not so much you forget the value of work. Stay strong, stay kind, protect your daughter. I love you. Grandmother, Emma cried reading it, understood the message. Margaret had given her foundation, not dependence, security, not weakness, tools, not solutions. Margaret's legacy wasn't money, it was strength, resolution, and new beginning. 2 years after the rain incident, Emma's life was completely transformed. She owned her own small graphic design business, modest income but hers, built by her work, not her grandmother's money. The $50 million inheritance sat mostly untouched. Emma had used some for Lily's college trust fund, for secure housing, for emergency fund. But she still worked, still supported herself, still chose independence. Lily was 2.5 years old now, happy, healthy, thriving, talking in full sentences. Mommy, I love you. Mommy, can we see James? Mommy, why is Daddy always sad? Ryan's supervised visits continued. He'd been consistent, showed up every week, 2 hours, supervised, played with Lily, tried to be a father, but there was distance. Lily didn't know him, didn't feel safe with him, cried when visits ended not from sadness but from relief to return to Emma. She doesn't love me, Ryan had told Emma once. Broken. My own daughter doesn't love me. Love is earned, Emma had said quietly, through consistency, through protection, through putting her needs first. You put your mother first. Lily learned that. Children always learn. Ryan was in therapy now, court mandated initially, but he'd continued, was actually working on himself, understanding enmeshment with his mother, understanding abuse, understanding why he'd lost everything. I'm sorry, he told Emma at a supervised exchange. I know sorry doesn't fix it, doesn't undo what I did, but I need to say it. I was wrong about everything. You were protecting our daughter, and I chose my mother. I'll regret that forever. Good, Emma had said. Regret means you understand. Maybe in 10 years, when Lily's old enough to decide she'll want more contact with you. But that's her choice. Not yours. Not mine. Hers. Ryan had nodded, accepted it. That was growth. Patricia hadn't changed. Still bitter. Still blamed Emma. Still played victim. Emma had blocked her completely. No contact. no relationship. Patricia sent letters to Lily from Grandma, but Emma intercepted them, would give them to Lily when she was older. Let her decide then. Emma and James were engaged now, not married yet, taking time, being careful, but committed, building life together. James had proposed simply, "I love you. I love Lily. I want to be your family, officially, if you'll have me." Emma had said yes, with conditions. "Lily comes first, always. If you ever make me choose between you and her, I choose her, every time." "I know," James had said. "That's why I love you. You're a mother first. That's what Lily deserves." They'd set wedding date for 1 year from now, giving Lily time to adjust, giving Emma time to be certain. Final scene, Lily's 3rd birthday party, small gathering, Emma's friends, James, a few kids from Lily's daycare, conspicuously absent, Ryan, not invited to parties, only supervised visits, Patricia, blocked completely. But present in spirit, Margaret, photos of her throughout Emma's apartment, her wisdom remembered, her strength inherited. As Lily blew out candles, Emma thought about 2 years ago, standing in rain, locked out, shivering, helpless, certain her life was over, and now, warm apartment, healthy daughter, loving partner, career, independence, strength. The worst night of her life had led to the best transformation. "Make a wish, Lily," Emma said. Lily squeezed her eyes shut, blew out candles, opened eyes. "I wished for ice cream." Everyone laughed. James whispered to Emma, "What would you wish for?" Emma looked around, at her daughter, her home, her life. "I have everything I need. I don't need wishes. I have reality, and reality is better than any wish." Later, after party ended, after Lily was asleep, Emma stood on her apartment balcony, looked at the sky. "Thank you, Grandma," she whispered, "for saving me, for teaching me, for showing me I was strong enough. I miss you every day, but I'm okay. We're okay. You made sure of that." A breeze blew, warm, like a hug. Emma smiled, went inside, locked the door. She had everything she needed: safety, love, strength, and nobody could ever lock her out again.